Jeff Howe, I'm here once again with this video for Horns247.com. Here with my co-host on the Longhorn Blitz podcast, Rod Babers. Talking Texas and Ole Miss. Needless to say, Rod, this is a huge game for the Longhorns. Texas at 1-1, Ole Miss at 2-0. Let's break this down, starting with the Texas defense against the Ole Miss offense. When you look at the Ole Miss offense, Jeff Scott averaging 10.4 carry. Laquan Treadwell, a five-star prospect, he's their leading receiver. Bo Wallace, yet to throw an interception this year against the Texas defense that we know how bad they were in Provo. We don't have to rehash that. Everybody saw the film. We saw the replays. You know how bad it was. Number one, I don't know how much Greg Robinson can do in a matter of days other than maybe just get some toughness, some attitude changes. And going against this Ole Miss offense, we know they can score. We saw them score last year in Oxford.
Yep.
Rod, I just don't know what we can realistically expect this Texas defense to do to slow down Ole Miss. Bo Wallace and those guys got to be licking their chops going into this weekend.
And you didn't even mention Dante Moncrief, who's also scares the hell out of
the guy
me.
that torched Texas
Exactly.
last year.
I'm with you, especially considering what BYU did against us with the zone read last week. And now you have true receivers on the outside, and Treadwell and Moncrief. Jeff Scott in the backfield. It's kind of a Big 12 back, right? Kind of a scat back guy who can get around.
It's really
the
a Big 12 offense when you break it down with a spread.
It is. And Bo Wallace can throw and he can run the football. I'm with you. It scares the hell out of me. I'm going to just say that not only I think the defense will be better than last week. That's what I can say.
Can it be any worse?
They can't be any worse. They will be better than last week. But what I would say is they're going to need help from their offense in dealing with this Ole Miss offense, meaning we're going to have to be able to run the football effectively on offense and just keep the ball away from Ole Miss. Because I don't think there's any way we stop them from scoring points. I don't think there's any way. I think if they get the football, they're going to score points most of the time. I think we control the line of scrimmage on offense and just kind of keep the ball away from Ole Miss. We got to play keep away from that explosive offense.
Well, let's talk about the Texas offense against the Ole Miss defense. Now, we know the Ole Miss defense has improved.
Yep.
They're bigger. They were athletic last year. Then you throw in guys like a Tony Connor. Obviously, you got to talk about Robert Kimdichie. So their personnel's better than it was last year. Throw on top of the fact that Texas, no DJ Johnson. We know DJ Johnson's not playing in this football game. It's probable that David Ash won't play. Didn't practice on Tuesday. Going to be reevaluated. Mac Brown even mentioned on Wednesday. It's a game-time decision for David Ash. Which, when you're talking about a guy with a concussion and a quarterback with a shoulder problem to boot, never good when you're talking about game-time decisions. So let's assume Case McCoy starts this game with no DJ Johnson against that Ole Miss defense. What are we looking at? Because I don't like what we're looking at.
I don't either, but like I just pointed out, control the line of scrimmage. If that heralded running back quarter we've been talking about forever, Joe Bergeron, Malcolm Brown, Jonathan Gray, the offensive line, most experienced in the country, with the addition of Desmond Harrison, they got to win this game for us. Case McCoy, I believe at best, he's just a very accurate quarterback, but he's a short to intermediate thrower. He doesn't have the vertical game, which, by the way, takes away from one of your other most explosive weapons in Mike Davis. Because Mike Davis isn't a run after the catch guy. He's not a yards after the catch guy. He's not going to catch a wide receiver screen and take it to the house. He's the type of guy that has to go deep in the vertical game, and you have to give him the football. So I believe with Case McCoy, I think he's kind of taken out of the mix too. I think guys like Jackson Shipley, guys like Kendall Sanders, I think they play a big role here because those are the type of guys, wide receiver screens, they can run after the catch. They're those types of guys. So I think you got a short to intermediate passing game to help control the ball and control the clock. And I think the running game is going to be key, just keeping the ball away from Ole Miss's offense. We like shootouts usually, but I don't want to get in a shootout with Ole Miss. I don't want to get in a shootout with them Rebels, man.
Even if you look at Case McCoy's last couple starts, Kansas State last year, Baylor going back to 2011, those games ended up being shootouts that Texas got on the wrong side of because of turnovers.
Yep.
And it goes even to more what you're saying. I think you have to play ball control just for the simple fact that Case McCoy has shown in ball games he can turn the ball over.
He'll throw it to the other team.
And get you in a bind and get you behind the 8 ball pretty early. I don't like where this game is going, Rod. I really don't. I have a bad feeling about it. So let's assume Texas goes 1-2. They lose this game on Saturday. What are we looking at when we wake up Sunday morning if Texas loses this game?
Sky is falling. If Texas loses this game, I think you got the skies falling scenario. I think the fans, the minority of fans that are on the Mac Brown can get it done bandwagon, I think they jump to the Mac Brown cannot get it done bandwagon, and I don't think they're mad about it. It's not a vitriolic movement toward Mac Brown. I think they just feel like they can't trust the program or trust Mac Brown, and you'll probably be able to fit the amount of fans who do think that Mac Brown can get it done in a neon. And if that's the case, I just think it's going to be bad news for Longhorns. And I'm worried about the psyche of the players. The psyche of the players is fragile. We all agree with that. We still got K-State coming up. We still got Oklahoma coming up. And I think if this team loses this game, I'm not going to say guys check out. I don't think they'll check out. But I think you have guys who will lack confidence and lack self-esteem. And in the Big 12, that's not any way to be a player. That's not any state you want to be in.
Yeah, I wrote earlier this week on Horns247.com, I'm just tired of Texas getting in this game where it's an unexpected loss or a big loss, and then you got to try to circle the wagons and find that something that pulls you back from the abyss to not fall further in the hole to get yourself out.
Yep.
The biggest thing this team needs to do, I think, is just win. I don't care if it's 31-30, if it's 14-13, if it's 56-55.
Muck it up.
Win the ball game.
Yeah.
Bottom line, find a way to win the ball game. We'll see if Texas can win this ball game Saturday night in DKR. For Rod Babers, I'm Jeff Howe. Stay locked into Horns247.com. And don't forget, catch up with the Longhorn Blitz podcast at AM1300thezone.com and Horns247.com.